make a donation to my newest enterprise.
Need a starter build to clear the star chart? This one is for you. And you can get it at the start for the price of a bunch of copper cables. Rhino is one of the baddest beginner to endgame Warframe. Why? Cause he solves almost every problem you will face on the star chart. He can survive anything on any level, even if you are in the most hopeless squad in the game. Useful in any team and with any level of investment. Even the so-called professionals of this game would thank you for your buffs. And the most important, his abilities do not lose their effectiveness at any mission level. However, he can't delete an entire map in one click, and he might be boring for someone to play as. Iron Skin is your primary survival ability. It creates a special shield called Overguard. Overguard covers your health and shields. It also protects you from status effects and movement debuffs, such as knockdowns, freeze, radiation and similar effects. However, damage reduction effects do not apply to Overguard, neither armor nor adaptation. This ability scales with enemy damage. When you cast it, there is a short window where it absorbs incoming damage. After that, the absorbed damage is added to your Overguard. So, to use it efficiently, cast it while you're surrounded by enemies, and in really tough situations you can roll to reduce incoming damage. This helps you to preserve energy by minimizing how often you need to recast the ability. Roar is one of the most desired abilities in the game. Almost every player wants it in their squad. It increases outcoming damage based on strength. In this footage you can clearly see the difference. On the left, Roar is inactive. On the right, it's active, and the damage is much higher. This ability can even save one of the worst weapons in the game. Yes, even that one. Now, here's something not everyone knows about. Roar affects damage over time weapons twice. First, it increases base damage. That means status effects start at a higher value. Then Roar also boosts damage over time, so the increased damage is amplified again. As you can see, without Roar active, the hit damage over time deals roughly half of the initial hit. Now we activate Roar. The initial hit is increased. But the important part is the damage over time. Now the DOT deals almost the same damage as the original hit. In optimized build it can even exceed it. Because of this, Roar synergizes extremely well with damage types like heat, electricity, and toxin. The fourth ability is Stomp. When you cast it, all enemies in your vicinity are lifted into the air. They are frozen in place for a short time. This makes them extremely easy to headshot. It's especially useful for weapons that need headshots to charge. In mission types like defense, mobile defense or excavation, this ability can absolutely save your run. However, in the late game it becomes less reliable. As enemy levels increase, more of them spawn with Overguard. Enemies with Overguard are immune to crowd control abilities. And since Stomp is a crowd control ability, it won't affect those enemies. Charge. In most cases this ability is not worth your energy. It deals low fixed damage, so it doesn't scale well on higher levels. Because of that, many players just simply ignore it. However, some players have actually used Charge in speedruns, so maybe you could even find a way to use it. To make a strong early game Rhino build, you don't need a lot of fancy mods. You just need two things. Anything that boosts ability strength and anything that boosts armor. Ability strength will dramatically increase your damage output and survivability. Armor will make your skin more durable. You don't really need to invest. Formas, potatoes or maxed mods in the early stages. Especially if you can easily get the primed version, either through the market or when Rhino is unvaulted. And the equilibrium mod will make you completely overpowered, but we talk about this later. My Rhino has a bunch of shards, those give him some stats. I'll remove some mods to compensate them. And no, it's not easier to remove them, because my grade won't allow me to spend a bunch of resources just to reinstall shards later. Wait, I forgot one of the most important parts of this build, the pink paint. Forgive me for that build, Rhino mains with hundreds of thousands of hours. This is the final form of Rhino, ideal to carry you on any mission, and still useful hundreds or even thousands of hours later. To farm Rhino parts you need to start the mission of Venus called Fosse. As you probably know, on this mission you just have to reach the arena and then destroy the Jackal's limbs by damaging and stabbing them and finally finish him off. This game has a very complicated drop chance system, also known as the Antifuninator 5000. I reverse engineered it. Take a look. And after you get all the parts, you have to buy the main blueprint from the market. The heck, what the heck. This shotgun is one of the best early game one-shot weapons. It has enormous single-shot damage, and unlike most weapons, it doesn't need any buffs or preparation to hit hard. You just take it from your pants, shoot and run. And with a specific mod it even reloads itself while holstered. At the beginning you can use point blank, Hell's Chamber, and incendiary coat, or whatever you have to name. That gives you raw damage, viral, hit, multi-shot or reload speed. Later on you can get the Scatter Justice mod, and trust me, it makes the hack a lot more powerful than before. You can obtain it from the Steel Meridian Syndicate. But personally I would recommend getting it from other players. Many of them have higher daily standing limits, so for them it's much cheaper to obtain and usually easier for you to buy. The hack also has upgraded versions, the Kuwa hack and the Waker hack. Both are stronger than the regular hack, so if you are short on formas it might be better to save them for other weapons, items or warframes. Depending on your progression speed, it can make more sense to get an upgraded version before investing heavily into the basic hack. Atomus, a powerful secondary beam weapon with a decent area. It can clear hordes of enemies, but at higher levels it might struggle. Once it starts to weaken, you can use it as a primer, a weapon that debuffs enemies. To show how that works, let's measure the pure damage of hack. Then we'll inflict roughly one viral proc on the same target, and shoot again. As you can see, the damage is roughly twice as much as it was without the proc. However, this buff only works on flesh, red health, and armored flesh, yellow health. Other health types won't be affected. The second status that this weapon applies in this build is hit. It staggers enemies, and after continuous effect, it temporarily reduces their armor up to 50%. The beginner build includes mods like Sure Shot, Gunslinger, Deep Freeze, Pathogen Rounds, Orange Strike, and you can also add multi-shot and viral mods. The endgame build might look like this. Later you can insert a so-called incarnon adapter. You don't need to worry about it now, but it will dramatically increase the weapon's power, making this weapon viable on 9999 levels. This weapon is safe to invest formas and potatoes into, because developers probably won't release better versions. Neither primed nor Kuwa variants. Event versions are unlikely as well. To get your first couple of weapons, hack and atoms, you need to be at least master your rank 4, then go to the market and buy them, just like you did it with Rhino. Zoris is a weapon you can get early during the side quest called the Deadlock Protocol. The quest becomes available after you complete the Saturn Junction, and you also need to be master rank 4 to start the quest. This weapon can obliterate hordes of enemies. It's extremely powerful if you invest into it, because it has innate electrical damage, which is meta among melee weapons. The beginner build is extremely simple. Pressure Point, Organ Shatter, True Steel. These mods will cover practically anything on the star chart. Later you can upgrade it to something like this. And even this unfinished build can deal enormous amounts of damage. This weapon is safe to invest formas and potatoes into, because according to developers it won't get better versions. The combination of hit and viral damage is one of the most universal in the game, and if you don't know the specifics of building, that's okay. You can use this combination in most weapons. Hit decreases enemy defenses, and viral increases incoming damage to red health up to 325%. The proportions of status damage matters too, because the game chooses which status to inflict, based on each status damage proportion in the weapon. If you have 99 hit and 1 viral damage, the chance of inflicting viral would be roughly 1%, so at lower levels, it makes sense to keep hit and viral at similar levels, for better overall damage. As you can see on the screenshots, the same weapon with the same total damage, but different status balance, will deal different amounts of damage. The left screenshot has equal viral and hit damage, and the right one is weighted towards hit. Notice how the first one deals slightly more damage than the second. Another life hack. The first viral stack gives around a third of the maximum bonus. That can be achieved at 10 stacks. So with the beginner builds it's often better to inflict just 1 stack, and then swap to another weapon, because reaching the stack cap can take you more time than you need to kill an enemy. Also don't forget to enable this setting, to ease your life with semi-automatic weapons. In the early stages, with cheap builds, Rhino may consume a ton of energy, and to make your life easier you have to become blue-pilled. I mean get energy pills. The first one you can get is from market only for 500 credits, that's enough for most missions. There are other variants you can obtain, but I recommend you to skip them and snatch the best blueprint from a dojo as soon as you join a clan. To get it, find an energy lab, locate the blueprint, and just buy it. And as the icing on the cake, to become the true machine of death and not to struggle with energy, you have to get the Jerica. This beast constantly zaps enemies, making them deal less damage to you, and with the secret ingredient, it generates practically infinite energy. This build is super simple, you just need to insert arc coil and vacuum mods. You will get them as soon as you craft Jerica. To finish the build you will need Synth Deconstruct, Manifold Bond. The first mod can be farmed on Venus, Fortuna. Talk to Yudiko and take the third bounty. The mod has a 25% chance to drop on the final stage. To get the second mod you need to be at least rank 3 with the Ostern Syndicate. Farm it by doing bounties which also give lots of useful mods. Then go to Master Artisanry and buy it for 20k reputation. Next, insert the Equilibrium mod into your Warframe. It converts health orbs into energy. You can get it from the boss Lephantis on Deimos. Or if you have platinum, or enough prime parts to trade, you can buy it from players for a bowl of rice. After setup, your Jerica will constantly cast Arc Coil, which activates Synth Deconstruct, that generates health orbs from damaged mobs. That's where Equilibrium comes in. It extracts energy from any health orb created by Jerica, giving you tons of energy. Additionally, you can insert Guardian and Regen mods into Jerica if you get them. Guardian is unnecessary for Rhino, but it can save your life if you lose Overguard and shields. Regen reduces respawn cooldown, increasing Jerica's uptime. For Jerica's weapon it's perfect to add any cold, toxin or hit status chance mods. This passively debuffs enemies and activates Manifold Bond. And the most pleasant part, Jerica doesn't and won't have a better version. It's a great companion even at 10k levels, so feel free to invest formas and potatoes into this little beast. To obtain Jerica you just need to buy the blueprint from the market, just like you did with Rhino, Hack and the Tomus. In conclusion, I just want to say, I'm still using this build thousands of hours later. Especially I like to use it in disruptions, because it doesn't require any brain activity, beyond stomping and refreshing abilities.